Thank you so much for agreeing to serve as a small group coach. Coaching is not a huge time commitment, but it's incredibly important. One of my mentors did his PhD on small groups, studying thousands of successful, growing churches around the world, churches with thriving small group systems. And one of the questions he sought to determine was, what is the number one factor in a thriving small group system? He was surprised to discover that even above prayer, the number one factor in a healthy, growing small group system was coaching. Coaching makes a huge difference. So why did we ask you to be a coach? Well, here's what we look for in a potential small group coach. 1, they love God. 2, they love people. 3, they're humble. 4, they listen well. And 5, they ask good questions. And it helps if you've led a small group before. What we don't necessarily look for in a coach, though, is someone who is an expert at leading small groups, or someone who has an expert knowledge of the Bible. The longer you coach, the more you will learn about small groups, especially if, when asked a question you don't have an answer to, you come to myself or one of the other pastors and you ask us. The more you do that, the more you'll learn and the better you'll get at coaching. So what does a coach do? Well, we ask you to support up to 10 small group hosts and leaders. You'll do that first by praying for them every day. You'll want to put their names someplace where you will see them every day. Secondly, you'll be the first point of contact for your small group hosts and leaders. Some of them will just need to know who to contact if they have a question. Others will want to be in regular contact with you. You'll communicate via email, phone, Facebook, or whatever works best for them. If they're open to it, I encourage you to meet them for coffee, get to know them. So that you are supported and equipped, I ask coaches to meet with myself and the other coaches once every other month. Additionally, twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, we do a focused leader training breakfast on a Saturday morning that all our hosts, leaders, and coaches are encouraged to attend. We have several different speakers come in and train on one specific topic. Previous topics we've done were how to deal with difficult people in your group and how to spend time with God. Speaking of spending time with God, to be an effective coach, your leaders will need you to be cultivating an intimate relationship with God. You need to be growing in your own journey as a fully devoted follower of Jesus and protecting the things in your life that renew and refresh you. In other words, the best gift we can give to our leaders is a healthy, energized, spirit-led self. But this doesn't just happen without intentional effort on our part. It requires discipline. It demands that we set boundaries. The truth is, God hasn't just invited you to a role that will impact others. He has invited you to a role where your own life will be transformed. Coaching begins with your own journey with God. At its core, the Bible is a story of a loving, awesome God pursuing intimacy with the people He created. He desires to be at the very center of every detail of your life. Spiritual disciplines provide a means for us to grow closer to God. Through prayer, solitude, studying the Bible, worship, spiritual retreats, journaling, and many other disciplines, we have the opportunity to spend time with God. Each of us needs to figure this out. We need to figure out the answer to this question. What combination of spiritual disciplines do I need to regularly do in order to keep my heart tuned to God's? The answer to that question may be different for each of us and may change over the course of our lives. But it is critical that we are always spending time with God and putting Him first in our lives. The spiritual disciplines are not a relationship with God. They are the activities that help us cultivate and grow our relationship with God. Our first role as a small group coach is to intentionally cultivate our own relationship with God. Our own soul will flourish as we grow closer to Him, and our leaders will receive the best possible care as we serve them with hearts that are full and energized by God. If you haven't done so, I highly encourage you to take the Vineyard Spiritual Growth Assessment. It will help you determine where you are in your walk with Christ. It also has enough resources for spiritual growth in it to last a lifetime. We currently administer it in Vineyard 201. I'm including a link below where you can download it. In the future, you can always find it on my website by going to sadsad.com and clicking on resources. We want to serve our leaders out of the overflow of God's presence in our lives. If we try to do it on our own, we'll soon find we don't have anything left to give. God bless.